Hello guys and welcome to my new video. So today I decided to update my Resto Druid Stat Priority video that I did a couple of weeks. Well, I have a couple of videos out there that probably don't give the best overview of what stat weights to actually aim for as a Restoration Druid. And because I get so many questions, and this type of questions that I get, and there's so many questions that I read on other forums, on Discords and things like that. I have 20 crit, 24 mastery, 15% haste. Are these stats good for me? These kind of questions fundamentally are really nearly impossible to answer. Without going into detail, like you wonder right now, why do I have a spreadsheet open? I have a spreadsheet open here to showcase how actually stat weights work for Resto Druid, but for the people, there are around three tools to actually help you determine your stat weights. If you do not want to use any of these tools, if you don't want to use any WeakAuras, if you don't have logs, if you don't have Warcraft logs, if you don't want to do any of this, and you're asking a question like this, a general answer will be keep it balanced. Don't stack one stat. Don't prioritize like crit, don't prioritize haste, don't prioritize mastery. This is for raid scenarios, by the way. Too much. Don't prioritize one stat too much. Try to keep it balanced. This is the general questions that you're gonna get. You're not gonna get any better answer without actually having to use specific tools, and those tools are amazing to really find out. And this is the kind of answer that you will get. This answer will most likely help you in some way, but it will not optimize your healing. It will not optimize your itemization. It will just allow you to kind of, like, you know, I'm not stacking too much crit, so my mastery does a little bit more healing and things like that. But if you do really want to prioritize your healing, and because you're most likely watching this video, you're interested into furthering your Resto Druid healing, and you probably will really enjoy these three tools that are available. And all of the links, all of the things are in the description below. Just do the show more button and you'll see everything, and you just follow these links and I'll show you exactly how to do everything. The first tool I just opened up, which is the spreadsheet, which is arguably the hardest one to use for people who do not want to put in too much effort, or who are just confused by all of this stuff. Which, to be completely honest, if you first open it and the instructions are here, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff to be doing. So for the people, I'm actually just gonna showcase how stats work for Resto Druid. For Resto Druid Stat Priority, luckily enough, every stat, crit, haste, mastery, versatility, are kinda close together. So this is my stat priority right now. You can see 1.2 for versatility, 1.4 for mastery, 1.2 for haste, 1.3 for crit. Now you're wondering, like, what exactly do these numbers mean? It basically means intellect is 1. Intellect is your base level here, is 1. So that means basically 1 point of crit, or 1 point of haste, or 1 point of mastery, or 1 versatility is always going to be better than 1 intellect. And you can see that my mastery is 1.4, which is higher than versatility, which means that having 1 mastery is going to be better than having 1 versatility by this amount, 1.4 to 1.2. So the highest values here are the best ones to have. So right now for me, mastery is going to be one of the best ones to stack. It's mainly reason because I am using tier 19 4-set. With tier 19 4-set, the way tier 19 4-set works, it gives you an additional proc of rejuvenation. Additional proc of rejuvenation adds onto the mastery. So the more hot you have on that person, the more healing you do. So it actually works really well, which is probably going to be very similar to what tier 21 looks like, where mastery most likely will be still very, very strong. But the point is here is that your crit, haste, even mastery and versatility are relatively close together, and they're probably going to be even more close together if you are using tier 20. So all of these stats are technically really, really good. What I need to keep in mind is that versatility is going to drop down, or sorry, mastery is going to drop down if I'm actually going to start using, instead of cultivation, I'm going to start using like Tree of Life. Or if the guild is actually going to start bringing 5th healer. There's going to be more over healing, my cultivation is going to do a lot less, and mastery is going to drop down a little bit. But I don't want to go into the spreadsheet too much. I want to showcase what happens if you start stacking 1 stat. So if I have 5,000 mastery, 5,000 versatility. So let's say I'm gonna get a 10,000. If I put in 10,000 all of a sudden it starts values at 1.1, which is getting closer to intellect. So if I get 15,000 versatility, which is pretty unbelievable, it's gonna become as good as intellect, which is one of the worst stats. So you can see, and what if I have like 100 versatility? It becomes 1.3, which becomes one of my best stats. So you can see that having low or very high of a single stat brings its value down, or brings its value up if you have a very low amount of. You might be, when I said that the intellect is the worst stat, you might be a little shocked to find out that because of how intellect actually stacks, because of how much intellect Resto Druids, and actually a lot of the classes out there, how much intellect each class can get, actually reduces the intellect value by quite a lot. But that doesn't mean, that means really nothing to Resto Druids, because of how secondary stats are closely valued to each other. Basically, item level is going to be a king. You're just going to get the highest item level, even though intellect is probably one of your worst stats depending on your item level. So you don't have to use these spreadsheets. You don't have to use the spreadsheet. It helps out a lot, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But you can see the stat values here. There are additional tools out there that are available that can really help out with stat weight determination and things like that. So the first thing I wanted to cover is probably the best, probably my favorite, at least, stat weight tool. It's basically my favorite because it's real time. It's a WeakAura. It's a Leaves Resto Druid Stat Weight WeakAura. It's a WeakAura that you install a WeakAura add-on. You go to new and you go to import the WeakAura. When you import the WeakAura, you'll be like, what the hell is going on? There's 0, 0, 0. There's nothing being shown here. I'm so confused right now. Don't be, because it only starts working when you either enter a 5-man dungeon or when you actually do a raid boss. So what this WeakAura does actually, it will give you numbers similar to what the spreadsheet was showing, but a little bit different. The base or the highest value for this WeakAura is 1. So I'm using here an example as my Maidens of Vigilance mythic boss. I'm using the WeakAura, I'm using Tree of Life talent, and I'm using tier 19 Forset. And you can see here for me that intellect is valued as 0.7, crit is 1.0, haste 0.9, mastery 0.8, and versatility 0.9. So you can see that my stat values, because I start using a different talent base, I abandoned cultivation. Cultivation works really well with mastery, and my mastery dropped down, and my crit and haste actually went up because of the Tree of Life. So you can see that your talents, the difficulty of the raid boss, your playstyle is going to determine your stat weights. So another example, Sister of Moon fight. You can see right now I use cultivation and spring blossoms for this fight, and you can see that my int is 0.8, crit 0.9. Haste 0.9, mastery 1, and versatility 0.8. What do these stats actually mean? I actually forgot to cover. So you can see that mastery is 1.0, which means the highest value here is the best. Mastery is 1, which is the highest. Then you have crit 0.98, which is the second highest. But you can see that crit, haste, mastery, and even versatility are still relatively close to each other. And getting a bit of each is going to help you out. But you can see that with specific talents, your stat weights are going to change a lot. And like I said, because Resto Druid Mastery works it can be very hard to determine, because your Mastery is going to heal more the more people take damage. If more people take damage, your cultivation, which is going to proc if a person is below 60% HP, it's going to add an additional hot. If that person never gets below 60%, there's never going to be an additional hot. And your mastery is going to plummet in value, or it's just going to be a lot less valuable. So if you're a heroic raider who's doing bosses with 4 or 5 healers, there's a high chance cultivation might not even be an option for you, because you're probably overhealing everything way too much. And I've seen this happen all the time. So using this WeakAura, and I'm going to stress this, I can't even stress this enough. I haven't seen a class in World of Warcraft that has this WeakAura available to them that tells them the stat values. I don't think there's a class, at least I haven't seen one. So this WeakAura is actually really good for you to find out. Just install this WeakAura, go do bosses, and then you're like, huh. For me, for my personal game style, for my talents, my mastery isn't that great or something. I'm over healing content. I actually probably maybe should get a bit more crit and haste instead of just using the mastery. So this WeakAura will help you a lot. There's also an additional tool, so this is for the people who don't want to install a WeakAura but actually have Warcraft logs available to them. Sref's Warcraft log analyzer. So all you need is to have a log available to you on Warcraft logs. So right now I have opened my guild page, Aversio, and I'm going to look at Mythic Tomb Sagear's farm bosses. So I want to actually have a look at the Desolate Host Mythic fight that I killed. And I'm wondering, what kind of stat weights should I actually be using? So if I actually go into the summary of it, I can see that I'm using Prosperity, Typhoon, Tree of Life, Germination and Flourish, and I'm using tier 24 set. So I want to see what kind of fight it is. So you go to here, you have to copy the ID. And then you go to the report in the Sref's Warcraft Analyzer and just press get. It's going to link me all the boss fights that have been killed. I don't want any of these boss fights except for Desolate Host Mythic Kill, which took us 5 minutes. And then after a couple of seconds you'll see MadSkillz relative stat weight. So you can see for me stat weights, intellect was 1, which is going back to the spreadsheet values kind of. Master was 1.4, crit is 1.45, haste is 1.2. These are 2 different haste values based on presuming one is going to take into account mana as a constraint. I don't really look at haste values that strongly because there's a certain haste value that I prefer. Haste is very weird stat to determine in a lot of ways because the more haste you have, there's a higher possibility of you running out of mana. But if you're on farm content where bosses take like 3 minutes to kill, haste can actually be really strong and you're not gonna run into mana problems. I actually try to keep a certain value that I like around myself, that I feel is not too slow. But versatility is 1.28. You can see that my crit and my mastery were really strong. Crit, for me personally, crit tends to be a little bit higher the second I'm started using tier 20. But that's what I'm personally seeing. And you should really test out, especially if you have a tier 19 and tier 20 sets. You should really test out what kind of stat weights you're getting per tier 20, per tier 19. And then when tier 21 is released, you should definitely use the tools to find out. My prediction for tier 21 is that mastery is going to be valued to the same extent as it is with tier 19. With tier 19, mastery seems to be a little bit higher valuation for it than any other stat, depending on a fight. I'm talking probably mainly mythic fights where there actually is real damage coming in, or there's a lot of damage coming in. Most likely with tier 21, because the dot that you get from tier 21, it happens quite a lot. It stacks with mastery, and there's a high chance mastery is going to be quite good with tier 21. So you can see this tool actually tells me, again, it tells me a lot of stats. It tells me what my tier 19 2 set did, 4.7%, which is insane for just the 2 set. It's insane for just the 2 set. But this tool again is really great to actually determine your stat weights. If you feel like you don't want to use the WeakAura, or you feel like you don't want to use the spreadsheet, I highly recommend it. All of the links for these tools are down below in the description section. Please check it out. My biggest advice right now, just use the real-time analytics available to you via the Leaf's Resto Druid Stat Weight WeakAura. You'll see stat weights straight away. You'll know exactly what's going on. Most likely stat weights for 5-mans. You probably don't even need stat for 5-mans. Haste and Master are probably going to be by far the best anyway. But I highly recommend to try it out, to check it out. This is the Leaf's Resto Druid Stat Weight WeakAura. You just need to install it and it's going to start working when you're going to do a boss fight or 5-man dungeon. You need to keep in mind that there is a current tab, which basically means that it's going to determine stat weights for the current fight. And there's also a secondary tab right next to it, which most likely I actually don't really use, but it probably takes into account the stat weights during the whole session. So the stat weights actually themselves will reset when you reload. There are ways to go around it. You can actually use like an additional add-on that I haven't really looked into it. I don't really use it. Just Just make sure you keep track of what stat weights are per boss fight, and you just remember it. Just try and see it. But like I said, I get a lot of these questions. I have 20 crit, 20 haste. I'm going to, like, for any person who's actually going to ask me, I have 20 crit, 20 haste, 20 mastery, and they always forget versatility. You gotta remember, versatility is a really, really good stat as well. You got to remember, versatility is a really, really good stat. Resto Druids have all of the stats are really good, which means basically that any piece of gear that drops, you can just say it's biz for me. It has haste and versatility. It has crit and mastery. Biz. Doesn't matter. Most of the stat weights are going to be very close to you. But yeah, any person who's going to be asking me about, I'm going to link this video with these tools. And if you don't use these tools, you should not be asking questions like these. Because if you start, there is, like I said, there is no class that has a WeakAura that tells you what are your best stat weights. I haven't seen this for any single class. I have not seen, like, Resto Druid should be so lucky to have something like this available to them. So if you're asking these questions, I'll link you this video. If you refuse, or if you don't want to use these stat weights, then you should not be asking these. You should not be asking these questions, because this WeakAura and these tools are just amazing, and they really simplify on how to play Resto Druid. Let me know how you feel about this video. Let me know how you feel about these tools. If you have any problems, let me know if you're actually unsure about any of these tools, and I'll try and help you. Leave a comments below. I'll try and get to every comment who has any problems with it, because these tools need more recognition. Even though they are very popular among Resto Druids, every Resto Druid should know about these tools. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.